Hey, and what is up guys, Iris here, and in today's video I'm gonna show you how I escaped this 180 centimeters aquarium. Let's get started. So this project is somewhat special to me, as this is already the third time I'm escaping this aquarium. The first escape was a classic Ryoboku, and you can see a full making of video of it on my channel. Only a year later, I replanted the entire background and replaced the carpet for a cosmetics and foreground, in a massive maintenance session, which can also be seen in a dedicated video. This time, I decided to use Dragonstones, and was kindly allowed by Arca to handpick the rocks from their warehouse. By the way, thanks Arca for sponsoring this video. Dragonstones have a unique surface with lots of holes. Unfortunately, these pockets are filled with mud and have to be washed out vigorously. It took us approximately 3 hours to pressure wash and deep wash all the rocks. Afterwards, the rocks were left to dry in the sun. To achieve a dramatic slope, I decided to use crushed lava in mesh bags as a foundation layer. For this, I filled 20 mesh bags with crushed lava. Using crushed lava at the bottom of the aquarium not only saves money, but with its porous structure, it also provides a good water circulation and interlocks perfectly, allowing to position heavy rocks on top. Thanks to the mesh bags, it can easily be reused in the future. Next, all rocks were spread on the ground to get a better overview of the available pieces. And a large bench has been installed in front of the aquarium, allowing me to comfortably stand on it while working inside the aquarium. Now the fun part begins. I piled up the mesh bags with crushed lava in the left rear corner. Next, I added a total of 6 bags, 9 liters each, of Tropica soil, covering the bottom of the aquarium, and created a steady slope towards the left rear corner. Due to how the aquarium is positioned in the space, this is the only possible direction for a triangular composition. I took a piece from cardboard packaging and leveled the soil using it as an oversized sand flattener. With the substrate in place, we can now start building the hardscape. I started with the largest rocks first, making sure to alternate between the available colors. You see, Dragonstones are not only covered in mud, but they also come in a variety of colors. Some have a green tint, while others have more red and orange color. In order to make a perfect layout, you can either select all rocks with the same color, or you can mix them in a way so the colors blend well together. My idea for this layout was to create a geometric impact by having all rocks go in the same direction. While it might look unnatural at first, something like this can actually be found in nature nearby glaciers. At times, when a glacier was growing, all the heavy ice was pushing rocks and boulders in front of it, leaving scars in the ground. Now, with glaciers melting around the world, these scars are becoming visible again. So, in a way, this layout resembles a tribute to human impact on planet Earth and global warming. With all the large stones in place, it was time to balance out the composition by adding smaller rocks. I tried to keep the grooves visible from front to back and to avoid straight lines as much as possible. Smallest rocks were placed in the foreground to extend the impact of the large ones in the back. Having all the large rocks inside the aquarium has allowed to add more soil in the back and to raise the slopes once again. At this time, I took a little break to enjoy the composition I created so far. I also realized some rocks were not yet perfectly aligned. Sometimes it is important to take a step back and see your work from a different angle. Finally, the substrate has been covered with powder-type soil. This will help carpeting plants to anchor better and simply makes the hardscape look bigger. For this project, I decided to try out plants from AquaArt. What is remarkable about them, both the cardboard box as well as the PET foam inlays are shipped back to Poland, so the packaging is used over and over again. I really enjoyed the nice packaging, but also the plant quality was top-notch. All cups were filled to the rim with plants in perfect conditions, and I will put a link to their homepage in the description below. After unboxing the plants, I went straight to creating a plant map. What sounds complicated is basically putting the cups inside the aquarium. This not only helps to envision the final look of the aquarium, but also comes very handy, allowing you to budget your plants when planting. I started planting the foreground with Eliocharis parvula mini. So while there are multiple dwarf hairgrass species available, this one is probably the smallest one I have ever seen. It's about half size compared to Pusilla and is best suitable for nano aquariums. Despite the smaller size, the portions were super well developed with great quantities inside each cup. I've been planting one cup at a time, covering the entire foreground and going halfway in between every second rock valley. I have planted a total of 34 cups and covered approximately 50% of the ground. At this moment, I imagined, what if I planted the entire layout just with hairgrass monoculture? In terms of plant diversity, yes, that would be boring, but a monoculture planting can also be very impactful. I'm wondering, guys, what are your thoughts about it? Should I try a layout with just one plant variety? Please let me know in the comments below. Next, I followed with Tarugani repens and filled in the remaining valleys. I hope the contrast between hairgrass and this Tarugani will create an interesting look. For the background, I selected two types of Rotala's, Rotala atra and Rotala nanyeshan. First, I planted a bunch of rows of Rotala atra, leaving some empty rows in between. Later, I filled those empty rows with Rotala nanyeshan. When both plants grow in, they will alternate in color, enhancing the look of the geometric hardscape. In addition, I planted Lumnophila species Vietnam as a transition plant between Eleucharis and the Rotalas. At this point, I have to give a huge shout out to Alex the teacher, who has prepared majority of the stem plants, creating hundreds of small portions which allowed me to plant the background much quicker. In total, I've used the following plant quantities: Eleucharis parvula mini 34 cups, Rotala species atra 15 cups, Rotala species nanyeshan 5 cups, Lumnophila species Vietnam 5 cups, and Tarugani repens 10 cups. The glass panes have been cleaned to take a final picture before filling in the water. My final vision for the composition is a thick carpet of dwarf hairgrass in the front with some Tarugani repens highlights in between the rocks. Both plants transition gradually into the stems, which form dense bushes slightly taller than the rocks. To fill in the water, I covered the foreground with paper towels and used a plastic bag with several holes in it to slow down the water flow. This technique allows to gently fill in the water without flushing away plants and disturbing the substrate. Finally, some Bacter shots from Arca were added to jumpstart the filtration and minimize risk of plant melt due to the ammonia spikes from the fresh soil.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. As always, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And let me know in the comments below, please, what fish should be added to this aquarium, because I have no idea. And maybe your comment is going to give us some clue. So thanks for that. See you in the next one. Goodbye.